The world's largest lesson was held in Tomsk for the 6th, 7th grade students of the Gymnasium 18 by English and biology teachers. While preparing a lesson and conducting it, we pursued such aims as to develop the understanding of such concepts as water pollution and industrial wastewater, to identify the causes of water pollution and their impact on aquatic habitats, to continue forming the friendly approach to nature and rational use of natural resources, to develop the ability to analyze and make conclusions dealing with the environmental issues. At the beginning of the lesson, students are given QR codes to read and set the subject of the class. Watching videos, students get acquainted with the information related to the topic of the lesson, water pollution.
What problem unites all the videos you have just watched? How do you think?
Natural disasters.
Yes, what else?
Maybe water pollution.
Yes, of course, water pollution. And tell me please, what is water pollution?
Water pollution is the pollution of bodies of water, such as lakes, rivers, oceans, as well as groundwater.
What are the consequences of pollution of water sources?
Maybe fewer sources of clean drinking water.
Right. Well, Tonya?
The change in water composition leads to change in the flora and fauna of rivers, lakes and seas.
Yes, wonderful answer. Thank you.
After answering the questions, students are asked to make bricolage, demonstrating some of the most commonly occurring water pollutants, such as domestic waste, solid waste, oil leakage, industrial wastewater, and so on. Further, students are invited to give examples of dry and polluted water bodies. They fulfill this task in groups and name the rivers and seas that are known as heavily polluted. At the next step of the lesson, students are offered pictures demonstrating a clean lake and a polluted one. They work in groups and evaluate the content of the pictures according to the specified parameters: water, water inhabitants, vegetation, exposure to sunlight, and site of the lake. After fulfilling this task, one representative of each group makes a short report in front of the class. Then, altogether, children make a conclusion about the effect of pollution on the life of a lake. The teacher offers to prove the conclusions made by children conducting a further experiment with a feather. The feather is placed on the surface of the water, just slightly touching it. It naturally remains light and students point it out. Then the teacher adds some oil and the students notice the oil film floating on the water surface. Next, the teacher puts the feather again and this time it becomes heavy and covered with oil. Children are making assumptions that now birds will suffer from being covered with oil and might drown. The teacher's next question concerns the inhabitants of the lake. Students make predictions that the oil film prevents the penetration of light and oxygen, the temperature decreases, which leads to poisoning and death of all living organisms. As the final step of the lesson, the teacher suggests making up a story and creating a social cartoon on the problems of the lesson in the объясняшки application. The finished product will be demonstrated to younger students at the classes devoted to environment protection.
There lived a fish in a clear lake.
The fish had many friends, turtles, snails, and other fish. One day, people built a factory next to the lake. Waste was dumped into the lake, and the water became polluted. From that moment, all underwater inhabitants started thinking how to live in this polluted lake. The fish was very smart and said, "We have to sail to another place so that people understand that they have no right to pollute our lake." And all inhabitants agreed. On the same day, they decided to sail to another clear lake, but continued to miss their homeland. Once, people noticed that the fish disappeared, and the people decided to clean the water. People put filters at the factory. When the fish found out about this, she and her friends returned to their native native lake, and they lived happily ever after.
Thanks to this class, students developed not only their linguistic skills, but also tried their hand in cartoon and bricolage making. And what is more precious, they became more responsible and concerned citizens of our planet.